Okay, just down the street right there.
Hey, Shalom, Yah Bahashem, Yahushua Barakatham, to the brothers, Yahushua Mar Elatah Bahashem, Yahushua to the sisters. This is the California ISUPK Lashawan Qadash class. The Lashawan Qadash stands for Holy Tongue. It's a biblical tongue that's been given to us by the Lord, and since 1969, under Commanding General Yohana, the ISUPK has been teaching the truth of the Bible as well as the Lashawan Qadash, especially when it comes to this holy tongue, because the Christian church has a misconception of what the holy tongue is, and in fact, the ISUPK is the only spot that has the only place that has the truth about the holy tongue.
Right.
The Christian church speaks of the holy tongue as if it is a ghost that just jumps in you and you jump and you sporadically say cock-a-doodle-doo.
Right.
And in fact, that you're not saying anything. Well, the Lashawan is an actual language that was given to us by the Lord, but since we did not keep the law, statutes, and commandments, we've been stripped of our language and we've been given other languages under our oppressor. So now you see that, now you can see that we find historical artifacts as far as different stones that have the Hebrew ancient writing on it. And that was actually the Native American, the so-called Qadash, which you would speak of, which is he is in the 12 tribes. You would call him the so-called Native American. They actually had found a stone, maybe in the early 1800s, that had Hebrew writing on it. And with that information, that lets us know that the so-called Native Americans were writing in that Hebrew, and they were writing in that Hebrew, and they are those Israelites.
Right.
The only problem is what is it? Hosea 4:6. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. Our people, we don't follow our law, statutes, and commandments, and we are left where we're at, where we're confused, and we follow other gods. We want to become Muslims. We want to become Christians. We want to be everything that's promised out of this hell because we've been feeling this hell since we've been here.
Right.
That's why it's important to give these classes and so you can get proper understanding of who you are, what you should be doing. Because believe it or not, Black, Hispanic, Native American, man, you do have a task on this earth. You're not just here to be an employee and to work under your oppressor. That's the same thing as us in our slavery. We just work and we die. That's not what our actual job is. We are here to build a kingdom. We have to wake our people up and teach them their laws, statutes, and commandments so we will not be held under our oppressor much longer, because this time is almost up. And you can see that throughout the way they act, because they know that they can't hide anymore. Then Christianity is not going to save nobody no more. We can see the Christian church is a hellhole.
That's right.
So what I'm going to start, I'm going to go ahead and go into the alphabet. If you do need a chart, let me know. I can give you a chart. All you have to do is go ahead and put it in on, if you are on Facebook, go ahead and put it in via Messenger. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and put your email in, and I can email you one, no sweat. So you can take it home and work on it. What you want to do is, the Lord says, study and show thyself approved. You want to go home and study. You want to start writing. Take 10 minutes out of your time. Like I can tell anybody, because there's a lot of, there's 24 hours in a day, and you can waste 10 minutes of your time on Facebook or YouTube looking at a fight or something that just ain't important to life. And believe me, knowing your language, a language that's been stolen from you, is very important. This is why it's key that we are in these classes, why we are on these corners, and why we waking our people up, because we are God's chosen people, the Lord's chosen people, and we have to know our positions. We're not the Crips and the Bloods and the whores and the pimps that these people say we are. This is just the title that they gave us, and now we are starting to act like with the title that they gave us, and we're not those people.
Right.
I'm gonna have the brother. The brother he's been working very hard, and man, he deserves it. He's been in this class with me for about 2 years. Now he had his officer test. He passed it. So I'm gonna let the brother take over the class. You know what I'm saying? I'm a student now. I'm gonna have the brother Karam Mishak come up, man. Hey, congratulations again, brother.
What? Starting. It's ISUPK. We're gonna be starting off with the
ancient Hebrew. I'm going to write it out. If the brothers and sisters could just follow along, if you need a chart, go ahead and put it down in the comments. We'll make sure we have it over to you. Go ahead and put it down in the comments. We'll make sure I'm just sharing it. Go ahead and put it down in the comments. I'm just sharing it. I'm going to give you guys a second. I'm going to copy that down and make sure you got it. All right, so this is the ancient Hebrew. We're going to go ahead and go into the ancient Hebrew alphabets. This is A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Cha, Ta, Ya, Ka. As you can see, the Ka and the Ka sounds almost alike, but the Ka is more of a Ka. La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Za, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Da. And this is the ancient Hebrew. There's basically our language before the oppressors went ahead and took us into captivity and oppressed us. And again, I'm gonna just go ahead and go over it one more time. A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Cha, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Za, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Da. I'm going to give you guys another second just so you can go ahead and write that down and get familiarized with it. Like I mentioned before, if you don't have it, go ahead and put it down in the comments and we'll make sure we get it right to you. So I'll go with the Syrian name. Just the brother was saying earlier, we oppressed, and this is our language. This is what we used to speak before that oppression arose. This is our language. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This language speaks to you. Once you start writing it out, once you get to it, this language will speak to you. It'll be like you never left as soon as you get it.
Right.
Going to give you guys a couple more seconds just to get that down. And again, if you don't have the chart, go ahead and hit it down in the comment section, and we'll go ahead and make sure we get it to you. All right, we're going to go into the Assyrian Hebrew now. The Assyrian Hebrew is a bastardized language. It's the language that they forced, and they forced it onto us, and we'll let the oppressor know we know how to speak their language too. But the ancient is straight for us, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. right, I'm going to give you guys a second to go ahead and copy this down. Like I mentioned, if you don't have it, go ahead and put it down in the comment section, and we'll make sure to give it right to you. Make sure you copy it down. And what the brother was mentioning earlier, this is a bastardized language. This language is not our language. But we do know this language just in case. Just, for anything. If they writing something, we'll know how to understand it. This is the Assyrian. It is not the ancient, this is the Assyrian. This is the Syrian Hebrew, the Syrian language. This is a character. The oppressors went ahead and tried to make it ours and tried to, just switch it up a little bit. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds to go to get that down. And also, just to mention, the oppressor so long, we don't know none of this. So once you come into the class and start writing this out, it's like it comes back to you. And you probably never wrote it a day in your life. Once you get the hang of it, I'm talking about the ancient now. Once you get the hang of it, it'll come right back to you. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds just to get that down packed. Now, if you can't see it, go ahead and let me know you can't see it in the comment section, and I'll try to my possible ability to go ahead and make it clearer for you guys. All right. I'm going to go into the vocabulary, get you guys familiarized with them words and how to write it. All right. All All right, so for the first word of the vocabulary, we're going to write idle. Idle. Idle in the ancient is Allah y'all. It's going to be Allah y'all. The second word is going to be if. If in the Hebrew is going to be am. Next word is going to be ignorant. The word for ignorant in the Hebrew is going to be ba'war. Going to call the brother up, the officer. He's going to write it for me in the ancient and the Assyrian.
Better. Better.
I should have brought some. That's my fault.
Looks all right.
Allah. Yah and the La. And what he's doing right now is putting the connectors. It's a singular and it's a plural. You already explained that to him. La. It's a lie. Okay, I'll give an example. When you see it written out, when you see the spaces in between, it actually sounds the words out. We write it like this just to sound it out so you can see it in its natural form and how strong it is. So, Allah, y'all. So you see the the la, and the y'all. Now, if you were to put those together, it would be like all and then law. But instead, this is why they're separate. You can see that sound. When you see this right here, this character right here makes that sound singular. When you see this character under a alphabet, it makes that sound singular. When you see this character, it kind of looks like a happy face under two characters because it's gonna be under two alphabets. That's bringing it's connecting those sounds, and that's all. I just want to touch and let you guys understand that. Okay, but when it comes to the Assyrian, there are no connectors. You just write the Assyrian straight out. So it's just la, ya, y'all. Now you write it straight out like that. There is no connectors to that. The next word is if. The word for if is am. So ma. And since the am is connected, you're gonna put the connector right there. Now I'm writing it out in the Assyrian. And remember that in the Assyrian, it's a double. The ma is a double character. So in this case, it's at the end of a word, right? So you want to use the second character of the ma. That's when that second character comes in, when you're using it at the end of a word. So we're going to go ahead and write it. Next word is ignorant. The word for ignorant is ba-war. I'm going to go ahead and write it out. This is the ba. This is the wa. And this is the ra. In this case, ba, singular. Remember, that's singular. And then the wa and the ra put together makes war. So you would connect those. That's how you would write that. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the Assyrian. So by war. All right. So for the first word, we got idol. Idol in the Hebrew is going to be alayal. It's alayal. The singular connector. And the ancient is going to be alayal. And the Assyrian is going to be alayal. Ain't no connectors in the Assyrian. You're not going to get that. It's only in the ancient. Come on. Next word is going to be if. It's going to be am. In the ancient Hebrew, it's going to be ma. But if you put the connector with it, it's going to be am. In the ancient or in the Assyrian, it's going to be ma. But it's no connectors. But you're going to read it am. Next word is going to be ignorant. By war in the ancient Hebrew. It's going to be ba, wa, ra. But if you see you got these connectors right here, that's going to make war. So if you connect it, that's going to become one word. So it's ba, war. And the Assyrian is going to be ba, wa, ra. So ba, war. Ain't no connectors in the Assyrian. Going to give you guys a few more seconds to write that out. And make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe to the class. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next words. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to the next vocabulary word, which is ill. Ill in the ancient is going to be makala. It's going to be ma, ka, la. Next word is going to be illegal. And the illegal in the ancient is going to be balathia. Ba, la, ya. That's how you say illegal in the Hebrew. Ba, la, ya. I'm going to separate that for you guys so you don't get too confused. Image is going to be the next word. It's going to be image. It's going to be slash idol. Image slash idol is going to be tazalam. And the reason I'm putting the little space in between it is just so you guys can know that it's separated, but it's also together. So image slash idol is going to be Taza Lam. I'm going to go ahead and call the brother up. You can write it out for me.
Come, let's let.
Awesome. What? Ma ha ma ha la ma ha la. And as you guys can see, he's putting the connectors. This should show you that it's connectors and it's singulars. That's how you come up with the word. It's through the connectors with the ancient Hebrew. That's how you can see what you're saying. It's through the connectors. You always put connectors with the ancient Hebrew. With the Assyrian, you do not put connectors. There is no need for connectors. The oppressor such the oppressor, you don't know what he's saying. But we still know what he's saying. Because he ain't right. He ain't quite there yet. But in the ancient Hebrew, there are connectors. The Assyrian, you do not need connectors.
Let me say John real quick.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to go ahead and write that out. And again, I'm probably going to be repeating this the whole class. If you need a chart for the ancient and the Hebrew, go ahead and comment it down in the comment section, and we'll go ahead and get that over to you. All right, we're going to go ahead and go over these. Ill. The word for ill in the ancient is makala. Makala. That's how you say it in the ancient. Makala. You see it's connectors. So when you have the connectors, it's going to be singular. So it's ma, ka. Then you see this is a connector right here. So you put them together, making la. As you can see right here, it's la with the ha. So with the connector making la, that's just for the ancient Hebrew. For the Syrian, it's going to be ma, ka, la, ha. But for the Assyrian, you're going to read it makala. There's just no connectors for the Assyrian. Next word is going to be illegal. Ba-lath-ya. Ba-lath-ya. That's how you say illegal. So it's going to be, how to write it out is ba, this is singular. Lath, you got the connector to make the lath. Then ya is going to be the singular. In the ancient, it's going to be, salagi. And the Assyrian is going to be ba, la, ya. Next word is going to be imagine / idol. is tazalam. Tazalam. So taza is going to be singular. Lot. Or it's like it. Tazalam. It's like it. It's going to be singular, then a connector to make lam. In the Assyrian, it's going to be taza, then lam. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to write that out. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next vocabulary words. All right. Going to move on. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next vocabulary word, which is imitate. The word for imitate is going to be kakwa. Ka, so like it. Qua. The next word is going to be immediately. The word for immediately is going to be thaka. Immediately, the word is going to be daka in the Hebrew. The next word is going to be in. And that's going to be ba in the Hebrew. Going to give you guys a few seconds to write this out. So for the Hebrew, it's going to be the ancient Hebrew, like it. It's going to be ka, kwa. Ka, that's the connector we've been saying. This makes it singular. Then kwa, you put it together and make it one word or one syllable. And in the Assyrian, it's going to be ka, kwa. Next word is going to be immediately, which is ka. Da, ka, and pa. But if you put the connectors and go ahead and connect them, this is singular, the tha, then these are together. So you're going to put the connector and make it together. It makes it ka. You want to go ahead and write it out in the Assyrian as well. Now the Thakat that has a secondary word symbol, but you're gonna go ahead and use the first Swag, is that what's that called?
What's that?
The two
First character?
Yeah, first character. The what? You're gonna go ahead and use the first character because you only use the second character at the end of a sentence or at the end of a word. Swag it. So since this is in the middle of the word, you're gonna go ahead and make it the first character. Then now pa is two characters. Notice the pa is two characters, so I'm going to use that second character because it's at the end. Now the last word we got is in, which is ba. That's it for in. And the Assyrian, gonna go to write it out, and it's ba. Gonna give you guys a few seconds. All right, gonna give you guys about 10 more seconds just so you guys can go ahead and make sure you got it written down properly. And if you don't have the chart of the ancient and the Assyrian, go ahead and comment it down just so we can go ahead and get it out to you. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next few words. All right, so the next word of the vocabulary is gonna be inside. The word for inside is going to be panayam. Panayamya. Nah. That's right. Panayamya. Nah. As you can see, I'm going ahead and separating them just so you guys can go ahead and know how to pronounce it. So for inside, it's going to be panayamya. Panayamya. The next word is going to be inspect. Inspect for the word is bakar. Ba. Quar. For inspect, it's going to be bakar. The next word is going to be interpret. Interpret. The word for interpret is going to be parash. Parash. So for inside, I'm going to go ahead and write in the ancient and the Assyrian. Inside is going to be pan na yam ya. That's how you say inside in the ancient. I'm going to write it out in the slide. Put the connectors. I'm going to put the connector for you guys. Pan. That makes it one word, or one. It's pan. Na is a singular. Yam, you're connecting it, so it's going to be sort of like a happy face. Then ya is a singular. Going to write it out in a Syrian as well. Now, since it's in the since the Assyrian, the first character is in the beginning of the sentence or beginning of the word, I'm going ahead and put the first character. There's two characters to the Assyrian, and this is the first character because it's in the beginning or the middle of a sentence or of a word. The na is as well. Next word is going to be inspect. Bakwar. Bakwar. That's how you say inspect in the ancient. All right, yeah, in the Hebrew. It's going to be ba, qua, ra. But if you go in, it's ba, qua, ra. But if you go in and connect them with the connectors, it'll be ba, that's singular, quar. Now that's plural. I'm going to write it on the Assyrian as well. Quar in the Syrian. Next word is going to be interpret. Interpret. That's going to be in the Hebrew. It's going to be parash. I'm going to write that out for you. It's going to be pa. Ra. And sha. Pa, ra, sha. But don't forget, we got to connect them. So it's going to be pa, that's singular. Then a rosh, that's going to be plural. So you're going to go ahead and give it the connectors. Going to write it out in a Assyrian as well. The pa for the Assyrian, it has two characters. So I'm going to put the first character because it's at the beginning or it's going to be in the middle of a word. And again, if you don't have the chart, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. I'll go ahead and send it out to you. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds just so you can go and get that down pat. I'm going to write it out. All right. So for inside, it's going to be pan na yam ya. Pan na yam ya. That's how you say inside in the ancient. Pa, na is singular. Yam is connector. It's plural. And then ya is also a singular again. Pa na yam ya. In the ancient. Pa na yam ya. In the Assyrian. Next is going to be inspect. How you say it is ba quar in Hebrew. So it's going to be ba, that's singular. Quar is plural. That's put the quar together. This is how you say baquar in the ancient. And this is how you say baquar in the Assyrian. Next is going to be interpret. Interpret is parash. So it'll be, if you didn't have these at all, just to give you guys a little bit more of an example, if you didn't have those at all, right? It'd be parasha. But you're not going to do that. That's why you need the connectors. So it's going to be pa, makes it singular, then rasha puts it together, makes rash. So parash. That's how you say interpret in the ancient. And then parash. This is the first character because it's at the beginning of the sentence. So it's going to be parash in the Assyrian. But parash is not the same as the ancient. You don't put connectors. So for the Assyrian, you do not put connectors. So it's going to be parash in the Assyrian. That's how you say interpret. Going to give you guys a few seconds. So we're going to get that down. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment them down in the comment section. And if you need a chart, go ahead and comment it down that you need a chart in the comment section. We'll make sure to get it to you. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next vocabulary words. All right, so the next vocabulary word is going to be interview. Going to be interview. Interview in the Hebrew is going to be Ra'ayawan. Ra. Ya. Wan. Ra'ayawan. That's how you say interview in the Hebrew. Next word is going to be intimate. Intimate. That's going to be the next word. I'm going to put that so you won't get too confused with my writing. is going to be in the Hebrew is going to be ma-kwa-ra. Ma-kwa-ra. That's how you say intimate. Ma-kwa-ra. Next word is going to be into. So the word for into is going to be off. Oh, that's how you say into in the Hebrew. I'm going to write it down in the ancient Hebrew and the Assyrian for you guys. That's how you write it in the Hebrew. But notice I don't have the connectors yet. So ra, ya, wa, na. That's literally how you say it. But as soon as you connect the connectors, that's gonna be different. You're gonna say it different. So it's gonna be ra, singular, plural, or slide. Ra, singular, ya, singular. So both and ya is singular. Then wan, wa, it's gonna be together. Wan. That's how you make the word wan. So ra, ya, wan. Ra, ya, wan. That's how you say interpret or interview. I'm going to write it out in the ancient as well. Notice that the na is a second character. So the second character is only going to be used at the end of a sentence. So it's going to be na. Next word, ma-kwa-ra. I'm going to write it down in the ancient and the Assyrian for you guys. Ma-kwa-ra. So ma. Like that looks a little ugly. Like ma. Kwa. Ra. Ba. Ma-kwa-ra-ba. But we didn't add the connectors yet. So ma is singular. So you're going to go ahead and put that right there. Kwa is singular. And then the last two, ra and then the ba becomes together. So it makes ra. So you're going to go ahead and put the connector right here. And that's plural. So that makes one not one word, but one you put them both together, make ra. Ma-kwa-ra. So I'm going to write it out in the ancient, the Syrian as well. Wow. Now in the Assyrian, you do not have connectors. Now we're gonna go ahead and go to the next word, which is into. Into is all. So it's gonna be then la. Now since you have and la, to make it make sense, you're gonna put the connectors, which is it's one. So that's gonna be plural. That's going to be all. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to copy that down and write it out. And Salagia, I'm hoping you guys are writing with a pencil because I messed up on this one right here. I used the second character instead of the first. So I'm going to put the first character down. For Makwarab, it's going to be, for the Assyrian, it's going to be the first character. Then I'm going to go ahead and write the all in ancient, Salahi, in the Assyrian. And for the Syrian, you do not need any characters. That is only used for the ancient. Going to give you guys a few more seconds to make those that correction. All right, so for the word interview, Ra'ayawan. Ra'ayawan. That's how you say it in the Hebrew. Ra'ayawan in the ancient, Ra'ayawan in the Assyrian. Next, it's going to be intimate. For intimate, it's going to be Maqwarab. So, Maqwarab in the ancient, Maqwarab in the Syrian. Next is going to be into, which is all. Both all is one word, so it's going to be connectors, connected. So this is all in the ancient, and this is all in the Assyrian. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next few words. All right. So the next word is going to be invade. For invade, it's going to be palash. Palash. The next word is going to be investigate. For the word investigate, it's going to be quaquar. 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 the next word is going to be iron. So for iron in the Hebrew, it's going to be barazal. So that's going to be spelled barazal. Barazal. I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient and in the Assyrian. So this is how you write Qadash without the connectors, but as soon as you connect them, it's going to be a word. Pa, which is singular, then lash, which is plural. That's how you say palash or invade in the Hebrew. Palash. Investigate. Going to go ahead and write it out. Going to go ahead and show you guys the connectors. So kwa, ka, salagi, is going to be a singular connector. Then quar is going to be together. Makes it plural. Investigate. Ka, quar. I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the, or salagi, let me backtrack a little bit. I'm going to write invade, palash, in the Assyrian. So since it's a second character in the Assyrian, I'm going to go, salagi, the first character in the Assyrian, I'm going to go ahead and use the first character. That is the first character in the Assyrian. Palash. Give me 1 second. So like I was saying, since Palash, the first character, and Palash is the first character in the what's the name? In the Assyrian, you're gonna go ahead and put that first character. Palash. So for investigate, it's gonna be Ka-Quar. Ka-Qua-Ra. Ka-Qua-Ra. But if you connect them, it's gonna be Ka, which is singular, then Quar, which is plural, which makes Ka-Quar. So it's a big difference once you start putting the connectors. If you don't have no connectors in the Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew, you're not going to have no word.
Hold on. Salakia said, what's the difference between the Assyrian and the ancient? Salakia, somebody asked you that question.
The difference between the Assyrian and the ancient is a bastardized version of the Salakia. The right. Assyrian is a bastardized version of the ancient.
Correct.
So the ancient is our literally Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians language. But once you start getting the Assyrian is an oppressor's language. But we just know how to speak it, so we also teach the Assyrian.
It's kind.
So like it, sir,
Now you did just no, that was awesome. No, that was it.
What? I hope I answered your question.
If I misspelled it. Sure.
I'm going to move on. That's literally the difference, the difference between the ancient and the Syrian. The ancient is literally our language. The Syrian is the oppressor's language. We just know how to speak it. So we also teach it as well. So, slugging, not to get confused or nothing. Investigate is ka-quar. So ka-qua-ra. That's literally the ancient. but if you put the connectors, it's gonna make a word. Ka, which is singular, then quar, which is plural. So that makes ka quar. I'm going to go ahead and write it out in Assyrian as well. And so, like, just to backtrack a little bit, the Assyrian, we know how to read and write it for the Assyrian, just in case, you know, the oppressor, you know, he's a slick person. So if he, you know, says something in the Assyrian, we'll know how to, you know, differentiate and know how to, you know what he's saying and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and write down in the Assyrian as well. The ka, then qua, then the ra. The ka for the Assyrian is going to be two characters. If we was using a ka at the end of a sentence or in the end of a word, we will be using this character, but we're not. We're going to use the first character in the beginning or the middle of a sentence, or a slagi of a word. So that makes kakwar. To move on a little bit, it's going to be, next word is going to be iron. Barazal. So I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient and the Assyrian. Barazala. Now, if you have no connectors, that makes no sense. But once you put the connectors, it's going to make sense. So we're going to go ba, singular, ra, singular, then zol. Za, then Allah becomes connected together to make zol. So you're going to go ahead and put the plural connector up under that. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the Syrian as well. It's ba, ra, 1 second. Za, lagi. Then la. Ba, ra, zol. In the ancient. It's like in the Syrian. So if you want to keep it honest, the Assyrian and the ancient, the difference between them, one is our language and one is not, to be honest.
Right.
Then I want to go ahead and make my switch my mistake. And I'm going to go ahead and fix my mistake. So for investigate, ka, quar, this is going to be the word, the character for ka.
Right.
And not ka. Salagi, I made that mistake. If you guys could go ahead and just fix that. This is going to be the character for ka. And not ka. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to fix that and to go ahead and write out the rest and copy it down. All right, so invade. It's going to be invade, palash. Palash in the ancient and palash with that first character in the Assyrian of the pa, the first character,
Lash in the Assyrian. Next word is going to be investigate. So you're going to have kakwar. Kakwar in the ancient, kakwar in the Assyrian. Next is going to be iron. Barazal. Barazal in the ancient and Barazal in the Assyrian. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds to write that out. The oppressor is such an oppressor that he tries to take whatever we know the Most High makes for us, and we can understand and flip it. That's what the Assyrian is. He flipped what we knew and to make it his own. So we can never trust the oppressor at all. So I'm going to move on to the next few words, vocabulary words. And if you don't have a chart, go ahead and put it in the comment section that you need a chart, and we'll go ahead and give that to you. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. And that's going to be irrigate. So the word for irrigate is shakwa. And notice I put a little space between it just so you guys know how to pronounce it. Irrigate, shakwa in the Hebrew. Next word Salagi. Go ahead and write that down for me.
What about Israel? Yasharala.
The water. All right, so the next word is going to be Israel. One Yasharala. So the word for Israel is Yasharala. Yasharala.
Law has a hard thing. No. Take that off.
Yasharala. That's how you say Israel in the Hebrew. Next word is going to be it. I-T, it. And that's going to be ha, wa, ah. Ha, wa, ah is how you say it. Going to go ahead and write irrigate out in the ancient and the Assyrian. Or Salaki, if I could just have the officer. Salaki.
Gotcha.
What, sir?
Slacky.
The word irrigate, the word for irrigate is shakwa. The sha.
That's it?
Damn.
Yeah, this was out.
Come on.
I think it's bleed. Now. Okay. Okay. This is the Sha. That's the Sha. The Qua. Sha Qua. Look like one way. That's it. Sha Qua. And the Ha. So here we go. Sha Qua. So Sha singular, Qua and the Ha together. Sha Qua. No. Sha Qua. All right, that comes in cursive. You see how I did it? There you go. But they wrote my hieroglyphics. They'd be like, "Oh, I know what that is. Look how you write." Nah, it's crazy. You think about how like blacks and Hispanics tag. And then you go back to them writing in the Hebrew. You're like, okay, I see how everybody, because back in the tagging days, it's all about style and how you write. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's kind of a similar thing. Like it kind of almost tells a story.
Right.
Next word is Israel. The word for Israel is Yasharala. So now we're gonna go Ya, Sha, Ra, La. So Ya, Sha, Ra, La. Simple. Ya, Sha, Ra, La. Next word is It, Hawa, Ha. 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 Wa. Ah. Same thing. The ha. The wa. The ah. Oh yeah, you going up. I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? That's good. That's good.
I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to go to write that down. All right, so for irrigate, it's gonna be Shaqua. So Shaqua in the ancient and Shaqua in the Assyrian. For Israel, call me Yasharala. It's gonna be Yasharala. Yasharala in the ancient and Yasharala in the Assyrian. For it, it's gonna be Hawa'a. Hawa'a. So like, just put the connectors. All these is gonna be singular. Hawa'a. Hawa'a in the ancient and Hawa'a in the Syrian. Going to give you guys a couple more seconds to write that down. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next words, few words. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the J's. So first word is gonna be jaw. For jaw, it's gonna be la sa. La sa.
What's up?
Next word is gonna be Jerusalem. Jerusalem. For Jerusalem, it's going to be Yarashalam. Yarashalam. Ra. Like. Shalom. Yarashalam. Next word is going to be Jew.
Right. Yeah.
So for the word Jew, it's going to be Yahawada. It's going to be spelled Yah, Ha, Wa, Da. Going to give you, and I'm going to go in and write it out in the ancient, in the Assyrian. Or it's like officer's going to go to write it out for me. The water, sir. Appreciate it. Going to give you guys a couple seconds to write that out. So for Jew, Lasath is how you say it in the ancient. Lasath. And then Lasath in the Assyrian. For Jerusalem is Yarashalom. Yarashalom is how you say it in the ancient. Yarashalom is how you say it in the Assyrian. Jew is Yahawada. Yahawada is in the ancient, and Yahawada is in the Assyrian. I'm going to go ahead and call up the priest and officer Kapar to go ahead and end the class. And this is my time. Shalom.
Hey, at the water for everybody tuning in. Check us out next Friday. We'll be right back. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shabrakathum to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Ilathah Bahashim, Yahweh Shah to the sisters.